Good afternoon. We're going to call this meeting to order. It is 1 o'clock. Well, actually, it's 1:01. I'm sorry about that. My bad. Welcome to today's Shac meeting. Shac is the School Health Advisory Council. It is Thursday, the 27th, and we are going to begin. We're going to start with attendance and make sure that we have quorum for today's meeting. If the members of Shac will just say present. Obviously, if you're absent, you're not going to say anything. Michelle Marker, present. Mark Schauer.
Present.
Dr. Woods.
Present.
Sada. Dwayne Hargis.
Here.
Araceli Moreno. Erica Moreno. Casey Pyle. Aaron Pryor. Here. Dr. Ana Salazar. And Dr. Colin Webster. Present. And is there anyone on Teams? Nope, no Teams. Okay. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do meet quorum, yes? You are correct. I cannot count. That would be 8, and we are meeting quorum. Sorry about that.
You're a biology teacher, not a math teacher.
I know, I'm a biology teacher, not a math teacher. That's right. Okay, so we do meet quorum. Thank you for that. We're going to start with our consent items. That is the approval of the December 19th. That's our last meeting, our minutes. Did everyone have a chance to read them? They were sent out promptly. Everyone had a chance to read them? Okay. Was there anything that needed to be changed that you saw? Any discussion from the minutes? Dr. Woods.
Hi, George Woods. I wanted to know if we were keeping count of absences on our minutes because I could not find that.
That is an excellent question that Nurse Sisk is going to look into for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Were there any other changes or anything that needed to be made? Awesome. Then let's move forward. And if I can have a motion to approve the minutes as sent from anyone? Motion by? Okay.
I'll second. Mark.
I know. First, second, Mark Schauer. All right. I'm assuming there's no discussion because we just had discussion, so we're going to go straight to the vote. This is to approve the minutes. So for Michelle Marker, yay. Mark Schauer.
Yay.
Dr. Woods.
I would like to have our absences on here, so I think I want to hold off to see what kind of decision gets made there.
Okay. Sada? Yeah. Dwayne Hargis?
Yeah.
Araceli absent. Moreno, Erica Moreno absent. Casey Pyle absent. Aaron Pryor? Yay. Dr. Ana Salazar absent. And Dr. Webster? Yay. Yay. All right. Sorry, I'm writing all my attendance on here. Okay, so approved, and I'm sure Nurse Sisk will be making sure that we add in the absence ones that are on there. That's not a problem.
Give me a second. There we go. Good afternoon, Sonia Zyla. So I am looking at the minutes, and we did take attendance. Would you like me to call it out? So we had at the December 19th meeting, we had Michelle Markert, Mark Schauer, Dr. George Woods, Sarah Bidden-Belly, I apologize, Aaron Pryor, Dr. Ana Salazar via Teams, and Colin Webster present. And then there were several staff members present as well.
Sure, and I do appreciate that. I guess what I'm asking is that if we could have it within the minutes itself so it's documented and it's on record.
Sure.
And then I may have a follow-up about what we're doing with absences later when that's appropriate.
Okay, yes, and these are documented in the minutes that were posted.
Okay,
so
fantastic.
they are. It is here.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks, everybody. So we're going to do discussion items, and we're starting with subcommittee reports. Nurse Sisk?
Hello, everybody. So I wanted to just take this time to share a kind of subcommittee report with you. Although my subcommittee for student and employee health didn't have any incoming presentations that we needed to review, I did meet with Ms. Christy Kluhl, who is the chairperson for PE and Wellness subcommittees, to discuss specifically the education our students receive on diabetes awareness. Mr. Shower has asked me a few times about diabetic education, and so I wanted to respond to him, and I thought it would be good information for all of you. So our high school students actually receive information on diabetes and chronic health conditions in the mandatory 9th grade health class. Middle and high school students receive education as a part of the health TEKS under chronic health conditions in non-communicable diseases area. And then all students in grades 3 through 12 participate every year in the FitnessGram testing per TEA requirements. FitnessGram uses a sequence of exercises to determine overall health and function, which includes the student BMI, muscle strength, endurance, and flexibility. I also want to mention a piece that the healthcare team on the campuses takes care of. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with acanthosis nigricans. That is a state-required testing that we test students 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th grade. And acanthosis nigricans is a skin marker on the back of the neck. Sometimes it will look like someone has a dirty neck. It's usually raised, dark, velvety in texture. Our nurses actually look at all students in those grade levels to look for the AN marker. What that indicates is a high insulin level, and so when we find those, we follow the state guidance and send referrals to our families, asking them to reach out to their physicians so that they have a better understanding of factors that may be able to influence the health outcome of that student. They may never become diabetic, or maybe with additional exercise and health changes, dietary changes, that may actually reduce their insulin levels and they may not suffer from diabetes. So I wanted to share those things with you so that you were aware of what we're doing for diabetes. So, you're welcome. You're welcome. Questions? Anything? Okay. I'm just staying here for.
Okay, thank you so much for the update. Let's move to informational items. We're going to start with the YES program. We have a follow-up. Nurse Sisk?
Yes, so at the last Shac meeting on December 19th, 2024, an action item entitled the YES program was brought forward by Ms. Courtney Rios for approval. After conferring with our district legal counsel, we received guidance that this item did not require action or vote approval by the Shac committee, since this program is a character education program and was vetted already by the Character Education Mental Health Subcommittee. It did not meet the criteria requiring Shac vote of House Bill 1525 or Senate Bill 9. The YES program should have been shared as an informational item only. A letter explaining this item was sent to all Shac board members on January 7th, and the meeting minutes were revised to reflect this change. Ms. Rios is now going to present a follow-up presentation for informational purposes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see everybody here. Just a follow-up on the presentation for the YES program that we discussed in the last Shac meeting. Some questions that you all had about the program, I wrote out and answered for you. We selected 20 elementary campuses, and the presentations will take place anywhere from January the 27th through May 16th. Times vary by each individual campus based on what the principal and the counselor came up with as the time that the presentation would occur. The elementaries that we selected were Allen, Garcia, Moore, Cullen Place, Smith, Shaw, Fannin, Hicks, Berlanga, Shannon Estates, Gibson, Zavala, Sanders, Galvan, Los Enseños, Castores, Travis, Yeager, Houston, and Oak Park. And campuses were selected based on academic attendance and discipline data that was reviewed. And then attached is also the curriculum again that you can review. There's the Big Adventure, and that is kindergarten through second grade, and it's a 30-minute little program. And then third through fifth grade is a 45-minute program, and that's called Navigate. And so both of them are available for your review. They go through, like I mentioned before, just introductions to emotions, how to manage emotions with our little ones, positive self-talk, and how to have healthy relationships, talking about conflict resolution and resilience, and then stress and sadness, and how to manage that. And so, and then for the younger ones, there's nutrition and knowing who you are. So this is a little bit more in details as far as what the YES programs are doing at the elementary campuses. We have received excellent feedback so far by the counselors and the campuses. The kids have been very engaged and have appeared to really enjoy the little presentations that they're presenting. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much. Do y'all have any questions? Just Ms. Rios? I was going to see if anyone had any questions since you were representing. Mark? Question? Mark always has a question.
Not always, but yeah, I guess it is always.
It is always.
Come to think of it. So, can you remind me, so the counselors are trained in the program, how to administer it, and then they go ahead and put forth?
No, this is a program that presenters from the YES programming are coming in and doing with our students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got that confused with another program.
Yeah, they're trained presenters through that program that come and present their little curriculum, the things that are attached, and present to our kids.
And I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. But so when they do come in from YES, they all have to do the volunteer background. They do that
Yeah.
before they come on campus, right? They're all approved?
Yes. They have to get with the campuses for that.
Through admin, they're approved?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And I will add, as part of an MOU agreement with any of our agencies that come in, they go through that whole process as part of our
Yeah.
MOU agreement.
Yeah.
Just-
Mark will forever have his police hat on, and he's always been concerned about that, in a good way, in a great way, actually. All right, thank you so much. We
Okay,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
presenting to us. Oh, we have another question. I'm sorry, you go ahead, honey.
No, it's a whole
It's a
group.
group.
Yeah, it's like an assembly presentation.
I have a question too, just because I don't remember. I know we talked about omitting the survey that was at the end.
Right.
So if there is no survey, like, do we have any measurement tool about like effectiveness? Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing to measure at this point because we took off the survey.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Sure.
So, for understanding for my part, the reason why it was a mistake to bring it for a vote is because it was character education, and that was already approved. I guess I'm trying to understand why.
Yeah, so we have the YAG that we approved in August.
In August.
That gives the different subcommittees the capability of taking information, and as long as it's not the top 5, we can make that determination. So I think that was approved by this team, or this committee in August.
And
And in addition, the yes had already been vetted and was already on there. So when this was brought, it was an update to some of the programming, right? The outline in
Yeah.
terms of updated curricular information.
Yeah.
In terms of,
Okay.
but this is a program we've already had coming into our schools.
okay, so, and I 100% could be wrong, but I thought that any new additional health curriculum that spoke to the core curriculum had to go in front of the Shac.
So I don't know if you guys want to pull up what it states on the Shac YAG, and maybe
Not
you
the
guys
YAG,
can
it's
read.
28, it's TEC 28.004, and it states that any new health curriculum that goes to the core curriculum needs to
Yeah,
be.
so this is not health curriculum. This is a presentation that is presented to our elementary students.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So when it says mental health awareness, mental health is part of core curriculum in health education, TEKS.
Yeah, so we'll look into that, I guess, and we can get back with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Say it again.
And this is on 17. Okay.
That they get what? Again?
Sarah, speak into,
Yeah.
you gotta turn your mic
Sorry, I
on.
can barely hear you.
You gotta be cool like us and turn your mic on.
Okay.
There you go.
So for the kindergarten through second grade students, they get the chance to use the super tools on a big adventure. So I was just wondering if there's anything similar for the third, fourth, and fifth grade students.
They get what is on the outline. So, and say that again, the tools?
The conclusion on the big adventure for the younger has the challenge to use the super tools.
Okay.
And the one for the navigate, the conclusion was the survey, and we crossed that
Right,
out. So she
right.
wanted to know if there was some other conclusive thing that the kids are getting.
Yes, so
that what you're asking?
because the survey's crossed out, I don't think that it's the same, but I can get back with you on
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
I'll clarify.
Ms. Rios, I just wanted to speak to a little bit more to Dr. Wood's question. So we actually on 9/26/24, Shac approved from 7 to 0 vote for the Shac YAG. And I'll read, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but this is the forward to that YAG. CCISD is requesting that with the approval of this YAG, the Shac will also approve respective members of the district's Shac representatives to approve materials and presentations as they're brought forward to the district. This includes the dissemination of information in written form, flyers, pamphlets, etc., and the opportunity for agency partnerships to provide presentations. If the topic or partnership would include discussion curriculum on any topic of Senate Bill 9 or House Bill 1525, that request would come through Shac and comply with the laws for having these topics and curriculums approved.
Yeah.
So that is addressed and was approved by the Shac board on 9/26/24.
So it was September. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll clarify on record, not August, September.
That's okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We will be moving to action items. Action items not generally, they do. They require 2 presentations here at Shac if they are part of House Bill 1525 or Senate Bill 9. We have the Pregnancy Center of Coastal Bend. This is our second time presentation, so we will be voting today on this particular presentation.
All right, so like she just said, we're here for a second time. I'm going to let Christina speak a little bit here, and then we will both be here to answer questions.
Thanks, Christine.
Yep.
Thank you all for allowing me to present for the second time about STEAM. I am Christina Yee. I'm the Youth Outreach Coordinator at the Pregnancy Center of the Coastal Bend. We have 5 centers in the Corpus area, as well as Portland and Rockport, and we provide free services to families in crisis, including free pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, parenting, all kind of prenatal services, and even counseling. And so I definitely wanted your school district to know about our free services. In front of you, you should have an invitation to our banquet. I would love to personally invite you all to come to my table. So I have the who, what, when, where, why, and how for my presentation, but I really wanted, I thought a lot about the why. Why is this health instruction important? So, at the end of the day, what are we trying to produce? We're producing healthy students, healthy families, healthy society, safer society, contributors to our communities. And right now, in our current state, right, we have mental health crises, we have STDs flying through the roof, we have a hypersexualized digital world that the kids are navigating, and, with, specifically about mental health, suicide and depression and loneliness, all of those things are higher than ever. And so, our school districts, right, our job is to educate and academics and everything, but it's difficult. It's impossible in many cases, right, for our students to be learning if they're going through trauma, if they're dealing with dating violence, if they're dealing with, suicide ideation and bullying and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're bringing that education into our classrooms where they are, because unfortunately they're not getting it elsewhere. So that's kind of the why. If you were not here last time as STEAM, and I think, we're just passing out just a few samples if you didn't get to review it. It is a health curriculum that meets 100% of the health TEKS for 5th through high school. It includes the updated health TEKS for 5th through 12th, the current legislation, as they mentioned before, the Senate bills and the House bills, and the TEA recommendations are all current with our curriculum. It is a primary prevention program based on optimal health and focused on avoiding risky behaviors versus reducing risky behaviors, so key difference. There are 2 workbooks per grade level, and they're specifically age appropriate to the TEKS for each grade level. There's a reason why they don't combine them, like let's say just a middle school book for 6th and 8th graders to use at the same time, because the TEKS are specific to each grade level, and the age appropriateness is quite different for a 6th grader and an 8th grader. So we separate those. In Workbook A, there are 9 lessons that are non-sensitive topics. So like Ms. Sisk was mentioning diabetes, it's going to cover nutrition, chronic diseases, first aid, relationships, mental health, success sequence. The second book is going to have the 5 sensitive topics. So that's going to be sexting, pornography, trafficking, abuse, cyberbullying, those kind of sensitive topics. And those are, as the school district decides, will be opt-in, opt-out for parents to approve. The curriculum is already approved by the Health and Human Services, by the State Board of Education, so it is eligible to utilize Title V funding for the next 5 years. So this curriculum would be free of charge if the district were to choose to write an MOU and utilize that grant. That grant is specifically for abstinence-based approved curricula, which STEAM fits under that. It is medically accurate, research-based. I have sent Ms. Kluel a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information about efficacy, peer reviews, research on all of the curriculum. There is a survey that is associated. It is anonymous and it is voluntary. So students can, and they use that data to kind of measure success, but it is voluntary. Parents have resources they can access through the parent portal. This is the beginning of the website that you can go to, but parents can have access to all the materials, every page, every word that the children will be educated with, and they can have a copy of the material, and we will make, do a parent preview night. And we're also open to the idea of parent workshops and parent training, if that is a need in your community. So where? It would be implemented ideally in classrooms, so this is not designed to be an assembly style presentation. It has been done, but we would like to piggyback on other organizations like YES and Homeland Security to help the kids really internalize and interact with that material and ask questions and work in their workbook. So it is ideally in a classroom. I know in CCISD it's going to be a requirement for health, so that would be an ideal setting. When? So 14 lessons designed to be 45 to 60 minutes each. So typically this is one example of the way that it can be implemented. A school district would choose to have their staff, so counselors, coaches, nurses, and teachers to teach the 9 non-sensitive topics, which we will train. And then our team of trained staff would come in and teach the 5 sensitive topics through the pregnancy center. That is just a model, completely customizable. So we're going to be starting in Taft ISD this spring. They would like us to teach all 14 lessons and have their staff shadow and learn for the next year. So also a viable option. There are other districts that don't want any other personnel coming in, so they want all of their staff to train their students, also an option. So you can do it anyway. Training can happen for staff at an all-day professional development. That's ideal. But it could be an 8-hour training that, for example, 6 staff members from a campus would have substitutes and they would come and we would train them. And then typically after the staff training, there's a parent preview that's offered. One idea that we were discussing was the summer school health credit. And so because it covers 100% of the TEKS, the school district can decide for the student to earn a half credit for health by taking the 14 lessons over the summer. So it can be a credit recovery class. We're actually doing it as a summer enrichment class in the justice system, in the Justice Center with the juveniles 14 to 17 years old in Barnes. And so we're actually going to be in there in June. And so if you would like a list of districts that have already Shac approved the curriculum, there are 7, and they're in the school board approval process. Okay? So one of the reasons why this is, yes, ma'am? Oh, 1 minute, okay. Yeah, so one of the reasons why our pregnancy center is so passionate about wanting to come into the schools is because we are seeing younger and younger clients, 11 years old, 13 years old, and they do not have the proper information to be making those kind of choices, right? They don't have the guidance. They're making these risky decisions. And they're struggling with mental, physical, and emotional health challenges as well. So we want to catch them on the front side. Okay. And then I think I went over the logistics last time, and that really is based on every campus. So, yeah, so that's basically the summary. Would anyone like to ask any questions?
Um, So, so an individual child, a student, you know, if they're going through an issue, a lot of times, not always, a lot of times, a parent, as you said, teacher, a coach, a friend can see that and hopefully will be able to help them, all right? But what we don't see is this dang thing here that they see, and you mentioned over-sexualized, maybe you said social media, so, and I don't remember seeing it in it, but is there a section about how dangerous this
Absolutely.
can be and how
Yes.
to use it and how not? And
Yeah.
if there is, can you elaborate on that?
So
portion?
probably if you're looking at the Embark, yep, and or the leader kit for
Right.
high school as well, and it's 5th through 12th, but specifically in the older grades, they're going to talk a lot about digital citizenship, about saying, you know, no to things, to resistant behaviors and things like that, but examples of like healthy time consumption of social media, these are the kind of websites that you need to, or even gaming, you know, apps that you need to be careful of, that all of these the trafficking and the pornography is going to be coming in through. And so there's quite a bit of information about that. And then cyberbullying as well. So a lot of the curriculum has to do with digital citizenship
And
and the
did you s-
dangers of social media and
So
things
this
like
one
that.
says fifth grade. Did you say that there's, each book has a component of this, each grade has a component?
Probably to some extent. I think maybe more, it's specific to whatever the TEKS is requiring the students
Gotcha.
to learn.
Right.
But there is quite an emphasis on that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question. And this is more for you, Christy. I feel like we talked about this, but I don't remember, and I don't have my notes from our last meeting. Tell me, like, how we're planning to use this. Like, I know we have heritage keepers that's been at our middle schools. How are we planning to incorporate this?
So actually, what we were looking at is using this as our, if this gets approved, as our complete curriculum for high school health. And so being able to use all the facets of it, and speaking with our health teachers at the last professional development, they would really like to teach. They enjoy teaching the human sexuality side of it, the big 5 topics, because they have that relationship there with their students. So like what she was talking about as far as having a training day and doing that during like our beginning of the school year training, and really getting the teachers familiar with how to use the workbooks and like the big binders. Like she gave me one of those binders that the teacher copy is. And so really getting them familiar with how to do that. And then being that it's 14 lessons, we would have our curriculum writers go over that and maybe, you know, add a little bit more to it so that we could use it for the entire semester. But that's how we were looking at it right now, is being able to, at least at this point, start it at the high school level completely.
9.
High school is one requirement right now, yes, for one class. And it's a semester class. She's got a question over there.
Okay, thank you.
Health is just one semester.
Okay, so would they be getting a half credit?
Yes.
So how would they get the other credit? Just like normally?
That's the only credit that you get for health at the high school level.
Are you trying to ask what else they take that year?
Yeah.
So when they're freshmen, I know I teach freshmen, I got this. When they're freshmen, world geography is a half credit and health is the other half credit. There are kids who take AP human geography, and that's a whole year. They're doing that half credit usually as a sophomore and then something else. So, but we're only concerned with the half credit for health, that they're all getting that. The majority get it freshman year, and that started last year, correct?
Yes.
Started
Yes.
last year.
So when a student takes their health, they, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, they're getting a full credit for World Geo, but for the health, they're getting half a credit. But the other half of the school year, the student will take something else that they work with their counselor to build their schedule on.
So you get the full complete credit for health. You don't have to take any more health. Even though it's called a half credit, you get the full thing.
So like, does the CPR courses and like the,
CPR is included in this.
okay.
So I wanted, and this is more, I guess, a you question too. So for the Delmar side of it, because I'm teaching one of the many dual credit courses at the Delmar side, I just wanted to see what you guys were thinking about how this is going to possibly meld with that dual credit component for collegiate and branch.
As of right now, the book that you guys have has already been approved that way.
Okay.
So what part of it needs to meld with that, I'm not sure, I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering if there was, I guess, future plans to try to, I guess, work with Delmar about this curriculum, because in my estimation, I would want all of our CCISD students to receive like education when it comes to this.
Okay.
Now, I'm only speaking for myself, but I would love to have that conversation with our chair, and I just wanted to see if you guys were thinking about some of those things or not.
I think it would be a powerful curriculum for kids that are finishing up, whether they're taking dual credit through 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I believe that STEAM is also working on a young adult version for college campuses, and so that could be a further discussion. But
Sure.
I believe that it would be an extremely powerful curriculum for those kids that are
Sure.
taking dual credit. So I don't know how that relationship
And I
should
can speak to
happen.
the dual credit piece. So, and this is specific to our students at Branch and Collegiate. And so we did, through Shac, approve the Delmar textbook for that dual credit class. And we had a plan where the CCISD would take care of those 5 sensitive topics. And so we could definitely use the section for the 5 sensitive to supplement those students getting the dual credit. And they would just, they would do it, they're taking their Delmar course.
Right.
But we would have to arrange while they're at campus at Collegiate to get those other 5 to meet that requirement. And that's the plan we had when we approved the Delmar book.
That's
But
fine.
I would assume that
Yes.
any teachers that are over at Del Mar would be fine with coming to a training that we have here if it's something that you wanted to be able to learn about so you could
Sure.
mesh into your curriculum there.
Definitely.
So
I mean, it's part of
that's-
our partnership.
That's really good to hear, because it's kind of the opposite. So I'm really happy to hear that our CCISD health and PE teachers are feeling confident and that they want to teach this. I can speak directly from our 1304 professors. They're hesitant, and they, I don't want to put too many words in their mouth, but they're hesitant to teach those 5. So I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you.
That's wonderful. I will, just one minor detail is with the grant, so if you were to utilize the grant for the whole district, it would all be covered as long as 75% of the curriculum is being taught. So like 5 out of 14 lessons wouldn't be, you know what I mean? So we would have to speak further about that. So that might be on CCISD to just fund that small piece of it, and then the rest of the district could get 11 to 14 lessons, so just FYI.
That would warrant more conversation, obviously.
Yes.
Thank you for
course.
clarifying that.
Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you so much for coming a second time
you.
to present to us. We greatly appreciate it. So we have come,
I have an answer for her question earlier. I couldn't quite understand what she was asking. So the little ones, they get the tools. Like their presentation is based on teaching tools. So at the end, they encourage them to use their super tools, right? The platform for the 3rd through 5th grade is a little different. So they're not specifically talking about different tools, to put in their toolbox in order to keep themselves, in a positive state of mind. It's a little bit different. So that's the answer. Thanks.
thank you very much. All right, we're moving on to our public comment section, and I know Ms. Sisk, I see some public comment papers on her table.
There I am. Okay. First, we had Ms. Shanna Fuller.
Before I start my comment, I have a question. For the public comment, I wanted to give two separate comments on the ESTEAM program, the Pregnancy Center program first. And then can I give a separate one on the YES program?
I think it's just the 3 minutes. If you wanted to divide that
Yeah.
and do it like, half and half, you could do that. Or
I know that there was a time in the past when they allowed like for each item or something, so, but then at some point it seemed like that changed, and then I just have a little bit of time. I know that if I can't say it in 30 seconds or less, it's probably not worth saying, but anyway, thank you for the clarification.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
were you ready?
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I had to get
That's
my
it.
papers straight.
Okay.
Thank you. Is this on? Okay. Okay, I just wanted to first, I'm Shauna Fuller, and I thank y'all again for serving. I always enjoy coming to these meetings. I learn a lot. I learn a lot in between the meetings as well. And so thank you again for being here. I just, as far as the ESTEAM program goes, I think this is an incredible program. And I fully support it. I understand, how detailed the Texas Education Code is regarding the HB 1525 and SB 9 material. And I'm so glad that there's a program that really focuses in on what our state wants for our students here in Texas. And then moving on to the issue with the YES program being changed from an action item to a informational item, I still am lacking a little bit of understanding on if it's the district's responsibility to follow the Texas Education Code, which is section 28.004, which states that a school district must consider the recommendations of the local Shac before changing the district's health education curriculum or instruction, and then as well as its own board policy, EHAA, which states that the Shac's duties include recommending, if feasible, joint use agreements or strategies for collaboration between the district and community organizations or agencies. Any agreements entered into based on a recommendation of the Shac must address liability. That's talking about the MOU, of course, that the organization would make with the district would make with any organization. I think the important thing here is that because the Texas Education Code states that the school district must consider the recommendations of the Shac before making any changes, I'm just not really clear on how the YAG supports the district in honoring the purpose of the Shac as established by the Texas Education Code and the board policy EHAA. So I hope that you have some of those same questions. It is my understanding through a public information request that was submitted to the district that the memorandum of understanding with YES program was signed between them and the district on December the 12th, 2024, which was prior to the presentation of this item at the Shac meeting on December 19th, 2024. And I have a copy of that with me if you'd like to see it. And I also have a statement of facts following a timeline that really describes, based on public information requests filed and copies of emails received, that were sent between the district and members of the district and the Shac, outlining how this item came to be on the agenda. So thank you very much. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Second public comment for Miss Naomi. Is it Naomi Wick? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Hi, everyone. Okay. Can you hear me like this? Yes? Okay. So I am not a parent. I don't have kids in the district, but as a taxpayer and as someone who will maybe in the future have kids in the school district, I just wanted to put my emphatic support behind the ESTEAM program and behind what Ms. Yee was presenting for y'all. I think it's a really, I've done, personal research into these like sexual risk avoidance programs just because I'm curious and they're important, and the ESTEAM program in particular, very impressive. So just wanted to put that in there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That ends our public comment requests.
Okay. We will now move to voting on the Pregnancy Center of the Coastal Bend program that was presented twice to us, and we heard public comment twice. And so it's time to vote. Is everybody ready? Okay, so as always, I need a motion. Motion. She's all over it. And a second. Second. Thank you. All right. And then we always have discussion. So is there any discussion before we move to vote? The motion's on the table. What?
That's something.
Mark?
I just want to thank the Pregnancy Center for the work you do. That wasn't a discussion, that was a comment.
I did. That's all my fault. All right. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Okay. So discussion will stop and we will vote. It's a yay or nay. Or, yay or nay. There we go. This is to approve the Pregnancy Center of the Coastal Bend program, ESTEAM, and the through the Embark that we talked about. Michelle Marker, yay. Mark Schauer.
Yay.
Dr. Woods.
Yay.
Sarah. Dwayne Hargis.
Yay.
Araceli Moreno is absent. Erica Moreno is absent. Casey Pyle is absent. Aaron Pryor. Yay. Yay. Dr. Ana Salazar is absent. She did message me, though. She did message saying why she was absent. Just put that out there. Dr. Webster. Yay. Okay. Motion approved. Motion passes. Sorry, my bad. So this will now move through the CCISD process to the school board. Awesome. Awesome work today, guys. All right, are there any announcements? Awesome work. Do you have any announcements, Nurse Sisk?
I do. I wanted to let you know that on February 10th, the board did approve us to move forward with the programs of New Life Refuge and the Homeland Security presentation. So those have been board approved and ready to move forward.
All right. Does anyone else have any announcements? I saw people reaching and I didn't know.
I don't really have an announcement, but I guess just to follow up, I know in our bylaws we have things with absences, and I know we have a few unfortunate and members that have not been. So maybe hearing back from you guys about what maybe we will be doing with some of that stuff, because we definitely, this board I think is a very important board, and us serving on it, and we do some really good things here, and especially listening to community and being part of the community. And I think it's important that we have as many people here as possible to represent that community.
Yes, sir. I agree.
I agree as well. So we were talking about our next meeting, discussing maybe reviewing the bylaws, some of the things with attendance and some of those things. So we can put that as a
Absolutely.
item for next time.
And also, since I'm talking a lot today, I would love, maybe for the next meeting, if we could maybe propose, if we want to do that as a Shac, of course, this would be our decision, that maybe we create a subcommittee for bylaws that is run by the Shac, because this is something that we are engaging in. It should be reviewed by Shac members, not strictly just district. If that's something that we could talk about and be able to put on the agenda maybe next time.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Mark?
I'm not sure the proper format, but on the mentoring thing, does that need to be put on an agenda, or, because I know we discussed it, but I wasn't sure like what the progress was, because I thought we were going to like look into the direction of training somebody to come in and do mentoring, but.
Yeah, that
So
was on.
Does that have to be brought up again and put on a feature and agenda?
You're talking about student mentoring?
Student
Yeah, mentoring students, adults. We'll go back in the minutes. I know it's been mentioned in the minutes before, and so we'd have to go back in the minutes and we'll pull it, and then we can always put it on the agenda, but I know it's been brought up multiple times.
What was the question?
About a mentor program, adults with kids. Mark's brought it up.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't mentoring electronics,
Yeah, okay.
but I was a mentor for at least 10 years, not continuously or more. But I think there's a value if it's done the right way. So that's why I keep pestering you about it.
And we have recently engaged in an MOU agreement with our Big Brothers and Big Sisters programs to go into some of our campuses. So we're actually in the works with that right now. And are you talking about other organizations, or are you just talking like
No, kind of
Shac members, or
maybe with them.
okay, we can give an update on that.
Okay, lots of good information. Anybody else? All right, well then this meeting is officially adjourned at 1:53. Thank you so much for attending.